All right, we're live. Welcome to the Spinnin Backfist MMA show for Tuesday, June 7th, I believe.
Yep. Boom.
We are here. It's Robbie Fox, it's Jack Mack, it's Big Ev for arguably the biggest Spinnin Backfist MMA show yet. We're going to be joined by UFC President Dana White in just a few moments.
I thought the Magic episode was bigger.
Magic episode big. Patty, obviously big. Patty and Molly together. Molly, the leg kick episode was big.
Yeah.
Pena,
We had some good ones. We have a couple of champs in person. We had Volkanovski, Aldrain.
top
We had GSP over.
like top 15 pound per pound pounders right next to us, which is kind of insane to think of because we've only done what, like 35?
I think so.
Yeah,
Maybe not even, yeah. But today's Dana. We're kind of waiting for him. We had obviously the Rosenstrike card over the past weekend, Rosenstrike Volkov, and it was a decent card, not bad.
The card itself had solid action.
Yeah.
Our mics are off.
Mics are off.
The audio's kind of weird.
The mics sound weird. That's not good.
I'll go
Is
over
there
there.
echo?
Check the driver. You know the Zoom driver?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Bear with us. We're going to try to fix what's happening.
We might have a.
Click settings. and-
Yeah, I was gonna do. Yeah, where's settings? Oh, down here.
Yeah. Click audio. And then Mike should click Zoom.
Now it'll.
It should be better now.
Are we back? Can you hear us in
I
the
feel like,
chat?
I feel
Let
like
us
you
know if
even
you can hear
sound better
us.
now in my ears.
You think so?
We'll find out. But
X that out.
one of the
Jack, so we can
guys
see
in the chat said that.
Yo, does that mean they could hear us?
I'm gonna pull it up on my phone.
Good.
We're back.
Good.
We're back. They could hear
Tim,
us.
shout out Tim.
Oh, all
Tim
right,
Hitchings
so
said
it's
awesome. Shout out Tim Hitchings, the GOAT.
Shout out Tim. Restart the intro. All right, we're just gonna go over everything we said all over again. Thanks for bearing with us there, guys.
Yeah,
We're gonna start it fresh, like for the podcast feed.
I thought that was it. Like I knew it was the settings.
It had to be. Yeah. All right. Hello and welcome to the Spinnin Backfist MMA show for Tuesday, June 7th. It is Robbie Fox, it is Big Ev, and it is Jack Mack. And we are here for the biggest Spinnin Backfist MMA show yet. We were just talking about some of the big shows in history.
Do I tell them?
Patty, Meatball Molly, the leg kick episode. Today we're here for an episode with Dana White.
The boss man.
I was wondering if we should like retell the same jokes we said in the
I
intro.
know, yeah.
Then we fake
Just
laugh.
thinking the same thing. It's always the worst. That's happened to me before, where I've done like 20 minutes of a podcast and realized like, oh, we're not recording on anything right now. We're
That's
just
tough.
talking.
Jack,
You
is
gotta
that
go
a
through the
mullet?
whole
No, not yet. But I'm just trying to get on Lee's level. Shout out Lee, by the way.
Shout out Lee in studio.
Speaking of spinning backfist success, he was on the rundown,
He was
yesterday.
huge for spinning backfist success.
which is awesome. Obviously, we've known Lee forever, but seeing Dave's reaction to Lee was very funny to
being
me.
there live was fantastic.
But Ev mentioned Lee once on the show. It's like this. He's a
well, because I got to meet him in person first.
he's like a security guard.
Well, because what I said was because in your picture on your avatar, it's just like your
Come
head.
here, Lee.
So we have no. It was just your face, like by itself.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so I had no sense of your size,
Look at him.
and then
He's
I
a
met
big-
you and realized
Do
you're
you play tackle?
you're 6'6", 300 pounds,
All right.
and I
So
was like, good
guard.
God,
he's
it's a big man, a
Ithaca-
big man.
Ithaca's line is massive.
Yeah.
If he's a guard.
Big, I mean, Ithaca's big time D3,
Yeah. No.
big
yeah.
time D3
So shout out Lee.
program.
Are you actively a player?
Yeah.
Actively a player. Unreal. You have one more year left?
One more year. We're gonna be in Yankee Stadium next year, so that's
He's going to be in
The
Yankee
quarter- the
Stadium.
quarter-
We're gonna-
The
Quarter
Pinstripe
jug,
Bowl?
big deal,
We may have to go.
big
to
deal
that.
in upstate New
Spinning
York.
backfist.
Yeah, a little field trip.
Yeah. Can you get us field passes?
We actually, this is gonna be nuts. Lee, probably, I would imagine you didn't know this. We almost college football show. We tried to go there, I think 2 years ago when you guys
Yep.
played at MetLife,
Yeah.
and we were just denied access to
It was
like
MetLife.
any
Yeah.
parking lot. They
Yeah.
wouldn't let us in, so we couldn't do it. We planned on it the whole year. It was like on the schedule,
Really?
and then they would not give us a spot to do the show in the parking lot, and then there's literally no point to do it if you're not in the parking lot.
I remember
absolutely.
it was MetLife that shut it down, not Ithaca or Cortland.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the schools. Yeah, they just wouldn't give us a space to like set up the show.
They would both schools would allow it.
Yeah.
for
Well, because
sure.
I went to TC3 for like a semester after I kicked out of Coastal. So I had a bunch of friends who went to Cortland and stuff. Cortland's only like 3 hours from where I grew up. And it was so crazy. Like they literally like shut down like the partying because it just was like out of control.
Oh yeah, they're out of their minds.
It was
Portland.
out of like the weekend of Kachug, it was out of control, and they had to just like stop it.
Yeah. Speaking of UFC, the Volkov card was, you said before the audio was working, not bad.
Not bad, yeah. Especially it being an afternoon card, like very watchable, like a watchable Saturday.
Good action. Like,
card
there
of
were good fights. Like even though it really fucked us, like the Trizano Almeida fight was a really good fight.
Yeah.
There was some really good scraps. Silva, the girl, actually, that was nice. I had her by sub. That was a crazy fight. She comes in and gets a submission early.
And then, what's her name against Felice?
Carolina.
Carolina back.
Good
She
scrap.
looked good.
I thought that was going to be a horrible fight. I even texted you
It
guys
wasn't that
before.
bad.
It was not
Yeah, it
bad.
wasn't a bad
Hand
scrap.
up. I was wrong.
You know who I was really impressed by? Second fight of the night, Fakhramedov or whatever, the
Yeah,
Russian.
he was
Yeah.
who I was saying the contender series, or not looking for a fight.
Yeah, he was a beast.
He's a monster.
I was really impressed by him. I'm looking forward to his future. Who else was? Oh, then
Aaron Blanchfield.
Aaron
Yup.
Blanchfield was
Jersey
great.
Yep,
zone.
she looked good, yeah.
The only thing
And
is,
I thought Aldridge won that first round as well.
She absolutely won
Yeah.
the first round.
Definitely won the first round. She got like the standing guillotine in the second round.
the
I love a standing guillotine. Love it.
the Molina decision was the big.
That was I would say we can talk about that. There was that one, and then the Selecki one was interesting as well.
Yes,
I personally thought the Molina one was worse because, in my opinion, there was zero way you could give him the second round. Zero.
And he got a third
for
20.
everyone-
No, and that's it. Literally, they showed that it was split decision. It was 29-28 one way, 21-28 the other way. Then they literally said 30-27. Molina
And he
was
walks
so
off.
pissed
Yeah.
because he knew. Like I in my head, I was like, oh, like Zumalaga, if I ever say his name, I was like
Zumagulov,
Zumagulov. I was like easy winner. Like he dropped him in the second round.
and to do
Like clearly, like I thought clearly won the second round. I thought even had more of an argument for like all three rounds than Molina. That was preposterous. I
And-
just can't fathom giving Molina the second round.
to do that,
And I
to,
like Molina a lot.
to do that to a man who has two families.
Horrible. He's got
Horrible.
he's got multiple mouths to feed.
He had
Forgot about
multiple,
that.
This man needs that win bonus,
and but
and he deserved it. Period. He won that fight.
yeah, that was. I was on Zumagulov, so I was pissed off. I understood Molina 29-28. I didn't agree with it, but like whatever.
Yeah.
It's just another one of those. But Molina had a nice viral moment after. He was talking about how people got mad at him for his LGBTQ
The writing on the
short.
shorts. Yeah.
That was good. He's like he's a really good guy for the UFC. I mean, he's tweeting about all the fights when he's
Yeah.
not fighting. Molina's great. Me saying him not winning isn't like, oh, I don't like him. I think he's actually a guy who is like taking a loss here would have helped him in the future because I think he's just a young guy.
He was talking about him fighting Muhammad Makayev.
Yeah.
Muhammad
Makayev called him out.
They talked
Yeah.
about that already.
And then he kind of said, well, Makayev like called him out. And then Molina kind of said, like, we're both young, like we'll definitely meet at some point.
I think that's the good way to go about it. Go against some guys that are not as talented, but a little bit like more veterans established, and then like earn your stripes. Makayev has a 0. Does Molina have a 0?
No, he's lost. I wanna say
Makayev
maybe
also
2
has
or
another
3.
fight.
What?
He has another fight booked.
He's fighting on the London card, right?
Yeah.
He is the guy.
Who?
against Charles Johnson, the LFA 125 champ.
Okay.
All right.
I
I mean,
mean,
I'm excited for Makayev.
I would imagine Makayev, Molina. Makayev would be a huge favorite.
Our
I
next
would say.
draft should be like top prospects.
Oh, that would
Yeah,
be a
I
fun
like
one.
that.
Yeah. I like that.
We could do that whenever,
The
but
main event, what do you guys think about the stoppage?
it was
There's a big talking point
Yeah.
afterwards.
I thought it was a little early.
Yeah, a
to
little
be
early.
honest.
In the moment, I thought it looked good, and then I watched the slow-mo, and that made me think it was early because it seemed like Herb stepped in after like 4 or 5 shots missed.
I just think like, listen, like I'm all for protecting guys, but I think like especially in a big fight like that, main event, like let him put him down. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
like,
The
he never
mouth
even went
guard,
down.
people said once the mouth guard got knocked out, then you have to allow less time because concussions, whatever. I understand that.
Because
but
also the aspect of it where I understand like people were kind of like, oh, he was fine right after. And I understand that he was fine because he obviously Herb Dean like stepped in and gave
Yeah.
him that split
But he
second
didn't
to
even
like
look
be
woozy.
fine. But no, he was good because he also, like you said, you saw the slow-mo, a few of the shots missed.
Yeah.
yeah.
I just think like you got 2 like especially like Rosenstrike, who's just like a slugger. Like I think you got to let him go out in the shield a little bit, like because it threw me off because he like I thought Volkov might have won the fight regardless. I mean, just because Rosenstrike kind of let his hands go and Volkov kind of ate his shots, which I was
Yeah.
really surprised by. Not that Rosenstrike couldn't have put him out, but he landed a couple of good shots that I almost thought I was like I bet Rosenstrike and I was like, whoa, that's not good.
Yeah.
He just ate a couple good shots.
Herb just makes it very difficult to. He just makes it very awkward. I think that's what everybody's talking about on Twitter was this week. Is his stoppages are just very, very awkward in nature, and you don't know whether he's fully committing to stopping the fight or not.
It's true. People were saying he could have stopped it like 2 seconds earlier, even, and it would have maybe looked better because at least it would have been right after the mouth guard went out. After
and he kind of like
landed.
he didn't like go down, but he kind of his knees like buckled a little bit, and he went like half down
earlier or later. But the time that he stopped it in was that like awkward middle period.
You know, he's right. He's had a bunch. Herb's had a bunch like that where he kind of like he's not decisive.
He'll like touch somebody,
and
they'll stop
he
and,
goes like halfway, and he kind of
Yeah.
comes out like. If you're gonna make a stoppage, you gotta just you gotta make your choice, and that's it. You gotta live and die by it.
It's so interesting because I think for just casual UFC fans, and I'm not saying this as an insult, they look at Herb Dean as like the gold standard.
Yeah.
But then once you get into the big time UFC MMA fans, they're like, yeah, he's a guy that's almost bigger than a lot of fighters because he's so recognizable, and he's a guy that he can do more than
forever.
one. Yeah, he's been around forever. He does it every week. But I don't know. Herb Dean's somebody that's like, I don't know how much longer he can do it. Well, we'll see. He's like, I don't want to get rid of him, but again, it's like the judges thing. I don't know.
He's generally, I will say, I think Herb is generally good.
He's generally good, and he seems
just
like a
has the
good
ones
guy
that pop
too.
up, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like he's like any umpire. You only see
Is he
the
Joe West
1%
of MMA.
Joe West would be pretty
Joe West is hated.
Is tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone really does not like
because
him.
Herb Dean like approval rating from UFC fans, like not the hardcore ones, is probably close to 100%.
I would think it is, but I feel like he would get a lot of approval, like you said, kind of from the casual fan. Just
If you go into this
he's
office,
the most known name.
I think Herb Dean's known more than
A lot of fighters,
Volkov
for sure.
Oh,
sure.
definitely.
A lot
I'm
of
trying to think of
fighters.
like even champs he may be. I don't know. Davison Figueiredo. If you show
Herb's just
people,
been around for so long.
I know. Like Ebo, Evan Bosenko, he's in the office. He works on the Barstool Sportsbook data team. And Josh, who doesn't work with us anymore, Joshua DM, they think like Herb Dean's like the gold standard, greatest ref in the history of sports. I'm like, guys, I don't know about that.
But you see what Masvidal said? Like he was like, I never want to fight again. Where he's reffing
he says he
my
has
fight.
bad
crazy.
bias.
He said that he thinks he has bias in general towards not just him, like just a lot of other fighters.
Was he saying it like a racial bias, or
I don't think it was racial. I think it was just
Which
like
fight did
I think-
Jorge get
I think
stopped
it was personal. Like he just has like beef with certain fighters.
none except when
And
it
he
was
thinks that,
literally
like
not.
he's not
Yeah.
upset about that stoppage, is he?
Maybe
No,
he's.
I mean he can't be.
Was there
He was
something?
really
I
unconscious.
mean, come on.
That can't be. I think it seemed to me when I read and I looked into it more, it was like personal bias with people specifically.
All right, that's fair.
that he was letting get in the way of maybe his decision making or early or late stoppage, like letting the guy go. I don't know. It was he just was like, I never wanted to ref a fight.
And in fighting, you like because they're all part of the same gyms. You hear so many stories. You hear so many like Jorge may be boys with somebody at American Top Team that that got screwed over, and he's like, I heard the same thing about Herb Dean. Then someone asked him about
That's
it.
a good point.
But what did you think about? I thought what's his name, De Silva, got screwed by the people earlier in the fights grabbing onto this cage as much, and then the refs got warned about it. And I don't know. I think I don't know if it's like a fence grab and a toe grab's the same, but not exactly. Or maybe I don't know.
I feel like it's so situation to situation.
Yeah.
They've almost need to kind of grab like a hold. They've let it get too wishy-washy. I feel like.
Did you agree with the point being taken?
He did it a lot, so it was
I know,
sort
It's
of,
tough
but like
'cause he kept doing it.
Yeah.
it was. He just did it. Yeah, it was. He did it so many times. I knew it was coming. Like they literally didn't even stop action. He just was like, "That's a point."
Yeah, that was the funniest part.
Like
But
because he was on the bottom, so he didn't let him select. He didn't get to lose his position. They just were point, keep going.
I thought that was the best way to do it, though. Just say
No,
minus 1 point.
that part was correct.
Yeah.
I think that was one he actually handled the right way. But that was a really bad card too, because bad scorecards because I thought De Silva clearly won round 1 and 3. I thought it was obvious, clearly won 1 and 3, and then Selecki won 2 and also got the point.
I thought
it should have been a clear 28-28 draw. That's why 29-27 was a bad scorecard. I still don't think it was as bad as the 30-27, but for Molina, but 29-27 was a bad card.
Yeah. I agree.
He just clearly, like, I don't know how you give Selecki the third round. That was the round that got him the 29. I don't see where
Because
I don't see how like he.
there's no way someone gave him the first round.
What? No. I look. It was the
Oh,
third.
you looked at
It
the
was the
cards.
third. Like I don't know what he did to win the fight or win the third round. I mean, excuse me.
Bo Nickel won't go to UFC for another 2 years. Well, I mean, yeah, he just finished wrestling, right?
Well, he
Well,
just
he just
made
debuted.
he just made his pro.
I mean,
debut.
I know he saw his debut, but give him some time.
It was a good knockout. KB sent it to me, and he was like,
Yeah, it actually was pretty.
KB
vicious.
was like, I'm happy for him, but LMAO at the dude he was fighting.
No, apparently the guy. I think he was like in like his mid-30s, making his like debut.
Yeah,
That's
always
awesome.
tough.
The dude was
He
literally
absolutely
36.
knocked his fucking head off.
He was
bro.
36.
Yeah.
He beat the shit out of him.
Did you
He
see
slept him.
Lozon? Lozon just cornered a 58-year-old fighter to his first victory.
Attaboy.
What?
That was kind of like on the this Ultimate Fighter right now is Bobby Maximus. He literally fought on the UFC on the Ultimate Fighter season 2,
Oh my
my
god!
and now
God.
participating in this one as a heavyweight. And he hasn't fought in like 10 years, and he legit was beating the guy at first, who was much bigger than him. He was winning, and then he ended up just getting knocked out.
So
but-
he's out.
yeah, he lost, but
The
he actually lost. He was the last pick, and he fought the first pick.
ah
And he came in and like took like he was straight wrestling. The guy was much bigger, better striker, much like heavier, everything, taller. And he came in there and like gave him a good like early scrap. Like there was a point in time I was like, if he could just like keep wrestling, he probably could win, but he just wasn't able to like keep it going.
Oh, this is a great point. Bo Nickel would be fun if they had the Habib Tony Ultimate Fighter. I think it
Oh,
would
yeah.
be rushing him, but maybe that.
I'm gonna ask Dana about that.
yeah,
When we go live with him. Dana, by the way, I believe is going to join in about 5 minutes.
Okay, great.
Around 5 minutes.
I think Bo Nickel would be an absolute terror in the UFC even right now. He would out wrestle 98% of the division.
I kind of know his sister that I didn't know
Really?
was
Huh.
his sister until she put it on her Instagram story.
Different last name or same?
No,
last
same
name?
last name, but I
Okay.
didn't put it together.
Yeah.
And she put it on her story and was like, "Oh, good job, bro." I was like, "Wait." I put it like together. But yeah, he's a guy. And then what's RBY doing now?
I
He's
guess
going
just
back to Penn
train.
State.
Well, he said he's taking one run at like the like national circuit,
Yeah.
or not national world
And
circuit.
then Olympic.
Got
Yeah,
it.
He wants to do Olympic.
Got it.
I think he basically said post 2024 he'll be like done and it's straight UFC or MMA. I mean, excuse me.
Makes
But
sense.
he's still been training with like Dominic Cruz and stuff like
Yeah.
on the side.
Yeah, it's
Like,
good to
he's
take your
doing-
time.
He's doing MMA training simultaneously while still doing wrestling and stuff like that.
Especially like how long does that take? I wonder. It's got to be different person to person, but learning striking from the ground up at that age is like got to
Yeah.
be crazy when you know so much about.
Well, I
a
feel like
different
that's what you
combat
see so
sport.
many guys like they just like get so good at it, they just like fall in love with it and like go away
Yeah.
from
Xavier West, MSG overrated. Philly should be the location.
I agree.
What?
Oh,
Bugging.
I mean, what are you talking about?
What are you talking
Wells
at
Fargo.
Wells Fargo.
Arena?
Well, Wells Fargo would be sick. Like,
I know it would be
It's a good
great.
arena. Yeah.
Well, UFC Philadelphia, the last one was Gaethje. Gaethje knocking out Barboza, that card.
Man,
Wow.
that was a while ago.
2017, I think.
Yeah, they're due to go
Shit.
back, I guess.
Felder
Yeah.
on that card? Did they have him on there? I vaguely remember
I'll look it up.
Maybe
might
like
have been.
Felder, like Mike Perry or something
Yeah.
like that. Maybe
one of those cards.
yeah, the
when he moved up to 170.
so is that road to the UFC this weekend?
That's like it releases like Tuesday or not Tuesday, like Thursday at like 2 a.m. our time.
Is it live?
I think so.
We'll have to ask Dana about
Yeah.
that.
I miss Mike Perry. I don't.
You don't?
He was, I mean, he was fun to watch.
He's
Like, he
entertaining.
He's out of his mind.
Yeah, but he was
By the
fun
way,
to watch.
talking about
Coming at the Halo by Beyonce being like, wait a minute, this is the wrong song.
I will say though, did you see Bryce Mitchell and Brendan Schaub?
No.
We would get demonetized on YouTube if I said what he said.
Was
So
he saying crazy
Yes.
conspiracy theory governments
Yeah.
after us? And
this was crazy.
Yeah,
But
he
this
said
was
some shit
this was
sometimes.
peak Bryce Mitchell. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch it at your own peril. But he was on like the Brendan Schaub MMA show or whatever.
yeah.
He's out of his mind. We knew that, but this one was like, oh.
Who else were we just talking about was on an MMA podcast?
Oh no, I was saying how Cheeto, because obviously
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna ask Dana about this too. That it was not like announced, but it was that Cheeto and Dominic Cruz in the main event in August 13th. Which now crazy also that Lee showed us before the show that I guess Hawani said that apparently is going to be a fight night in Boston.
That would be cool.
But that fight wasn't officially announced. But so he was on. Cheeto was on with Schaub, and he basically asked him about Peter Yan. They'd kind of called each other out, Yan and Cheeto, and I guess Peter Yan wanted to fight sometime like at the pay-per-view at the end of October in Abu Dhabi, and Cheeto basically said, "I'm not waiting that long." Like, He said I might fight twice before that. And then he had mentioned Cruz because he talked about Cruz in the past. And then he had said, well, and this was like right before it must have got filmed like days before the fight got semi-announced. Well, I guess we'll confirm with Dana or not. But he had basically said that because Cruz had always said, I only want to fight upper big names. And now he's like, all right, like I'm up now. So I guess that was enough to allegedly get Dominic Cruz to sign up for that fight.
I also saw a clip that the MMA media were sharing around on Twitter. I think Sean Sheehan was the first one to put it up, of Joe Rogan talking about like what he wants the UFC judging criteria to change. And he was talking about like they should change it to where like one big moment could steal around and whatnot. And everyone is sharing it because they were like, this is exactly what they added in 2016. And it's been helping judging ever since.
Yeah.
I will
I feel
say
like it's kind of like that. Or like I feel like you just like drop somebody, you usually like win the round.
yeah, I love Joe. I love his commentary. I know people shit on it all the time. We've spoken about that in the past. He should read the judging criteria just so he knows.
I think Joe should like Joe's great. There are some times that you're like, maybe just like an hour or two a week more in UFC, you would be like,
oh my God. Yeah.
yeah, he's great. It's just like stuff like that. It's like, it's kind of like he just shows up sometimes.
I think he does.
Which
I
he's
respect.
earned. He's earned.
Yeah.
So
I think he works out. He watches fights while he works out. I know that. So I bet he just puts on like some fights of people that are on the card, watches some of that to refresh his memory and shows up.
He's almost like a big time like MMA like historian.
Yeah, and it's
Like, he's
also
just
like
been
who's gonna
around-
tell him like
He's just been
do
around
your
like from the
research,
jump.
Rogan. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure
Dana's
they
not
have
gonna
people
tell
who
him
help
that.
him.
Like Anik, was he the guy that's got to step up and be like,
Or
"Joe,
maybe
check
like
this out."
Dominic Cruz will sit down with him, like
True.
the DC,
Well, I
and
feel
then
like
they'll do
I
the
feel like you always catch Anik like respectfully, subtly like correcting on the
Yeah,
broadcast.
yeah,
because he knows.
Because he just know he's the GOAT. Like
Yeah.
Anik's the GOAT.
Well, yeah, people say that. Like, I think Magic says Anik just lets Cormier and Rogan just talk for 10 minutes straight, and he's just like, I'm just gonna let people know, like, let people realize that they're just talking nonsense. And then
he literally, like I catch it all the time where like they'll be going on these tangents or they'll be saying things that are just like not correct.
yeah,
And then he'll just kind of like subtly just like correct them.
I mean, Anik, he's definitely pumped up for the Boston card. He's gonna want that. Yeah, that's gonna be the John Anik card.
That accent all night. He loves being like, he is the card.
He literally did it on this past
He
card.
did, yeah.
He was like, he's the main card.
Some of the other headlines that we had to talk about: Brandon Moreno officially leaves his camp for Glory MMA, going to James Krause now. A lot of people doing that. James Krause in Kansas. He's got to be one of the top people bringing tourism to Kansas at this point.
I would think so. No, a ton of people have been going over there.
Shout out James Krause. I like him as a coach. I've interviewed him in the past. Very insightful guy. Like he's one of those guys who can talk about MMA and break it down to where you could understand it too. He'd be a good guy to get. I don't know if they have like where they have what's his name, Whitman, where they sometimes go to Trevor Whitman and they're
like Dean Thomas as well. They do
Dean
that.
Thomas.
I think James Krause would be a good guy to do that. The issue is he corners somebody every fucking card.
Always.
Greg Hardy going to boxing next. Pretty predictable, I would say.
Yeah.
We knew he would be sticking around fighting in some way. Surprised Bare Knuckle didn't throw him a bag.
I'm sure that I feel like that had to be an option.
Probably.
I'd be surprised if there wasn't at least like a conversation.
Do you think he'll be on the next Jake Paul card? I could see that.
Yeah, maybe. Decent chance.
Jake Paul undercard.
Yeah.
A bunch of wild boxing knockouts over the past weekend. One of the fights who was the fight that we were texting about that? It was like a domination and people didn't see Haney.
Yeah, it was Haney and Campbell.
It was just a very boring.
It was.
fight.
Yeah, it wasn't super exciting.
That wasn't one of the knockouts.
He just jabbed his face off for 12 rounds.
Large was talking to me, and then I think he said the same thing to Ev. That division that they're in, Cambosos, Haney,
Teofimo,
Gervonta,
Tank,
Tiafomo, Lomachenko. It's all wide open because there's a lot of unknown
Garcia.
questions. Ryan Garcia.
See, I ran into Teofimo in the street last week.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
Just like on 7th Ave on Tuesday.
Did you say something or no?
Yeah, I just nuts. I became a big fan. I said this to Large. I became a big fan of his because he would always fight after the Heisman ceremony.
Yes,
Oh.
and he wore the
And he would always
Oklahoma jersey.
he'd always wear the Heisman Trophy jersey. So like the one he wore like who must have been
Kyler Murray.
He wore Kyler Murray's. Then he wore like Joe Burrow's.
Huh.
So that's kind of how I got introduced to him. Became like and then the Lomachenko fight. I was like, this guy's gonna be like the best boxer ever.
Why
He
did
looks so great in
Why
that
is
fight.
that his thing?
Just
Like-
I think it just was like he knows he's fighting for it. Like it just
Floyd had Cinco de Mayo. Now Canelo has Cinco de Mayo. He has Heisman ceremony.
Because it would just be on ESPN after the Heisman ceremony. So I think he kind of just knew like there were some fans lurking around.
Yeah, that's it, because that Saturday is usually like kind of a. I mean, obviously there's a lot of sports on, but like
He's also he's from here, like he's from New York City.
that's sick. Yeah,
Like he was literally just by himself on 7th Avenue.
and you recognized him.
Yeah,
That's
I'm,
sick.
I'm a big fan of his. I really like I'm after the Lomachenko fight. I literally thought he was gonna be like the pound. For
Was he
pound
cool?
one.
Did he seem like
Very
appreciative
nice.
that you knew who he was? and everything?
It for sure. It seemed like I'm sure he gets it a lot. I'm sure for him it must be like just certain situations. Like he's very normal looking. He's normal size. Like he's like
Yeah.
5'8". He probably walks around 150, 60 pounds.
Doesn't look like you're walking down the street and you're like, that guy's.
He
one of the
looks like
baddest
just a
men,
normal
like,
guy
yeah.
in the city.
Yeah.
So I just seen him and I recognized right. I saw him like we were like walking towards each other, and I just put my knucks out. I was just like big fan,
We got
and he just knucked me and was like very happy about it.
some funny guys in the chat talking about the Ryan Hall versus Gordon Ryan beef on Instagram.
Do they have beef on it?
They have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu beef.
I could see that. Ryan Hall just doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who would go back and forth with beef.
It doesn't. It's more like Ryan Hall pulled out of the like whatever their
ADCC.
ADCC, and then Gordon Ryan put up Instagram post with saying like, great news, Ryan Hall is pulling out of the ADCC. We don't have to watch his god awful Brazilian jiu-jitsu anymore. Something like that.
Well, in defense of Ryan Hall, he also tore his ACL.
Oh,
so
I mean,
he's going to be out for a while.
it's tough to do jujitsu with a torn ACL.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
By the way,
Also-
I saw this fight this morning on Reddit. 125-pound grappler against a 225-pound street fighter. It was in Russia, of course. It was sick. We'll have to like maybe next episode we can do like almost like a watch along of it. I was thinking we could do like those react videos on YouTube
Yeah.
where that you put it in the bottom. I think we could maybe do that. That may be something like we could do on the side.
That'd be a nice like ending segment.
Yeah,
I
it's
did
just
get
also-
a heads up that
did
they're
you
trying
see,
to join now?
You see Sean Brady called out Bilal.
No, I
I
didn't
mean-
see that.
Just straight called out Bilal, was just like basically because how Bilal's kind of always said forever, like everyone's stuck in his fights. And Sean Brady was like, I like literally tweeted at him straight up, said, I know they called you. Like literally was like, I know they called you and you're not picking up. Like, let's fight. And
I
honestly-
know they called
And
you.
honestly,
That's
for the
hilarious.
I was thinking about it deeper, like for the UFC and that in welterweight, that makes so much sense because let's be like totally honest. The two of them aren't the most exciting fighters.
No.
I think you'd almost rather them fight now when like one's I think Bilal's like 4 or 5, and I think Brady's like 6 or something like that. That's a good fight. Almost make them fight and just almost kind of get rid of one of them when it comes to at least the title picture.
Yeah.
So you just have two just like straight wrestler grapplers, like kind of just get rid of one of them. That'd be interesting because I think the two of them, there's a decent chance that fight ends up becoming decent, stays on the feet.
That would be awesome.
'Cause they both
Bilal
are just,
turns into
like-
the Usman Colby one.
Literally, basically. And I mean, Sean Brady's undefeated.
Yeah.
Never lost. So that'd be
When
a
was
big.
the last time Bilal lost too? He had the Leon Edwards fight was going to be.
Bilal hasn't lost in a while
Yeah, he hasn't.
because he fought. He went on a.
Oh, there he is.
There we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining the show now, we've got Uncle Dana live to talk UFC 275. Dana, what's going on?
What's up, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing well. You're here on the Spinnin Backfist show. It's the first time you're with the three of us. This is Big Ev. This is Jack Mac. We're trying to grow the Barstool MMA brand, grow the fandom here. We've got more than just me at this point that are MMA fans in the office.
Awesome. What's up, boys? Nice to meet you.
Well, pleasure,
What's
Dana. Appreciate
up?
the time.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Are you
Thanks for
going,
having me.
Dana? Are you going to this card?
No. It's my son's 21st birthday this weekend.
Oh, nice. Happy 21st
Yeah, so
to him.
I'm, we're starting out here. Me and my son are going to gamble together for the first time on his birthday on Thursday. Then we're flying down to Miami for the weekend.
Which places are still allowing you to gamble in Vegas?
Caesar's Palace, baby. If you are a real player and you really play, you don't want to play anywhere in Vegas but Caesar's Palace. It's the best casino in town.
Are you saying that until they kick you out? Do you think eventually you're going to win too much money and they're going to give you another
No, even
title?
if they kick me out, I'll still tell you they're the best in town because
All right.
they should be kicking me out here pretty fucking soon.
They built a statue this time instead of a belt.
Yeah, put you out front. Right next to
Yes.
the lion. Dana petting the lion. I would love that. You got any big summer plans too? You going to Maine this summer?
Yeah, I'm going to Maine. I always go up there for the 4th of July. So I'll be up there for the 4th. Leonard Skinner plays on the 3rd. I'll be doing that. I got some cool shit going on. You know what I just did? I'll tell you guys some cool stories. So I just last weekend I went to Malibu and hooked up with Rick Rubin.
Oh,
I went
wow.
to Rick Rubin's house in Malibu, and we sat around for 3 hours shooting the shit about music and fighting and all kinds of cool shit like that. We got the fight coming up in Austin, Texas. Jesse James, my bike is done that he built me, so he and I are going to rip through fucking Austin on our bikes.
Oh,
Can't wait for
wow.
that. I'm meeting with Mark Zuckerberg on the 25th. We're going to have dinner together and shoot the shit.
Are you going to FaceTime Patty from that dinner and let Patty go off on him?
Probably not.
I've heard that Zuckerberg's getting into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's
Oh,
be rolling
really?
a bunch.
Yeah, so I'm hearing that he's a big fan and that he loves the UFC, and you know, I love stuff like that. I'm going. I think in July I'm going out on the set and watching Clint Eastwood film a movie. Then I'm going to go to dinner with him. One of my all-time favorites. I'm doing so much fucking cool shit this summer. I'm really looking forward to this summer.
The
Sounds
summer
like
of Dana.
For real. This
That
is
was a
the
heater.
summer of Dana. Yeah. We got UFC 275 this weekend, obviously, and that's the card we're here to talk about. Anything on this card that jumps out to you right away that's not one of the marquee, main event, co-main event fights? One of your, maybe if you don't know now, you know fights.
I haven't yet. Obviously, Fiallo. You know the Fiallo story, right? This
Oh,
kid
yeah.
comes back into my room and tells me he wants to turn right around and fight again. I love kids like that. I love guys that do that shit. He told me he wanted Singapore, and here he is. So obviously I'm excited to see that fight. And he's fighting Matthews, which should be a great fight. And then once you get up into, Weili Zhang and Joanna Jacek, Shevchenko and Santos, I don't think people really appreciate how tough of a fight that this is going to be for Valentina. And if it's not, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Holy
good is
shit.
she if it's not? Yeah, exactly. Glover in the main event. I looked up. Glover debuted in 2002 in professional MMA. What were you doing in 2002? I know you were 1 year into the UFC. What was that year like for you guys?
Oh God, it had to be a total shit show. I think in 2002, a year after we bought it, we were trying to head into England already. I think we were trying to put on events over there. But yeah, burning a lot of cash is what we were doing.
I would say, Dana, before we get off the light heavyweights, I know obviously big fight 4 versus 5 booked in July. You got Magomed Ankalaev, Anthony Smith. Would you, since there's obviously Rakic just got hurt, would you say that that's a #1 contender fight?
Huh? Yeah, it would be.
It's a great fight.
He's looking
I'm
at the
looking forward
board.
to that,
So I
yeah.
know I would say Blachowicz is pretty much the only other guy up there that's healthy right now. That was why I asked. I was curious.
Yeah, that's a nightmare. But yes, you're absolutely right.
And we were just talking about the UFC, trying to go into England for the first time. Now we've got another card in London right after the March card. We got a July 23 card. Patty the Batty, Meatball Molly. We're all back. Me and Dave are going to be going, I think. Maybe Dave will be with you during the fights or something. Talk to us about this card. Did it come together just because the card in March was so awesome?
Yeah. After the card in March, man, we knew we had to turn right around and go back there again. That market is just so badass and so fun. And all you guys, anybody who's watching this right now, if you haven't been to a UFC fight in England, I'm telling you, fucking take a summer vacation, go over to London and check this thing out, man. It is so much fun to go to these live events in the UK. It's like a once in a lifetime experience.
Would you look at a possibility of having a Paddy Molly at Anfield, the outdoor at the Liverpool Stadium, or is that not really a possibility considering it's outside?
Yeah, I'm not going outside. I'm definitely not
Okay.
going outside in fucking England.
Okay, that is true. It rains there all day.
Yeah,
how
listen, if
important
you're going to
was-
go outside, you go to Abu Dhabi where
Yeah.
it's hot as hell and absolutely not going to rain.
Yep.
But I don't even like that. I don't like having any outside factors that can affect the fight. Heat, wind, any of that kind of stuff that can hurt the outcome of a fight. I don't like.
How important was it to you guys to get Patty on this card? Because for a while, it seemed like we didn't really know if he was going to be on the card or not. And obviously, he's one of the bigger names out there. You look at the social media, it's crazy.
I'm not aware of us having a hard time getting him to fight. So,
Oh, not that it was a hard time. We just didn't know for a while. It was like one of the last fights announced.
oh, okay. So what's your problem with that? What are you saying?
I don't have a problem with it, Dan. I'm not coming at you. I said, how important was it for you getting Patty on the card?
Yeah, it's
Were you
great.
like, if we're going to London, we need Patty on the card?
Well, listen, every time we go somewhere, it's not like we have to have somebody on this card. It all depends on the timing. I mean, obviously, if we're going into London and we can have Patty on the card, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But, it's all about timing and injuries and, what they got going on in their personal life and what's lined up next. There's just so many different factors that go into who's on a card.
And another card that's kind of up there in the rumors is this supposed Cheeto Vera Dominic Cruz card. That fight is being talked about a lot. Ariel Helwani said that card is going to happen in Boston. Is that true?
In Boston?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Denied.
Fake
No.
news.
Fake news. Yeah, that's good
Yeah.
to.
How would Ariel Helwani know where the hell we're going?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
That guy gets
hilarious.
Scoops from time
Is
to time.
the Cheeto Cruz fight definitely a thing, or is that at least being worked on?
Cheeto Cruz is definitely being worked on.
Okay.
That's a banger of a
That's
fight.
awesome.
That's
Awesome.
an amazing fight. Yeah.
Is that one potentially a title eliminator, or at least maybe a title to fight Jan for the belt, or excuse me, Jan and then for the belt, or how do you see that one?
I don't know. We'll have to see how the fight plays out. But obviously, you got Jan, you got Dillashaw, Jose Aldo, the ranked number 3 in the world. Yeah, that's a nasty little division right now, man.
And you've got Figueiredo talking about coming up because he's apparently very frustrated with the interim title situation. Did you see his comments about that this week?
That who did?
Davidson Figueiredo.
No, what did he say?
He's very upset that an interim title is being talked about in his division. He can't believe it. And he's saying he's threatening basically to move up to bantamweight because of it.
Cool.
That's it.
Another kill at 135.
This past weekend, one of the main things that everyone was talking about online were the judges. It's usually talked about every weekend, but is there certain decisions that you see and you think to yourself, we have to change something, or is it kind of out of your hands with the commissions in various states and whatnot?
Yeah, it's one of the things that we've always had problems with,
Mhm.
and it's something that we're always going to have problems with. It's one of the hardest things. Listen, we're sanctioned by the athletic commissions. They oversee us.
Yeah.
We don't oversee them. We try to do everything that we can to help to make the judging better, the reffing better, and because there's nothing more frustrating than watching a fight and seeing somebody win that lost or lose that wins. It's literally the worst, and especially if you bet on it.
Yes, I was. Yeah. We were all on Zuma Guloff this past weekend, so we were all.
That's tough for us.
Yeah, but hey, it happens. It's part of the game, unfortunately, when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, there was a lot of talk with the Warriors Celtics game about officiating that game.
Yeah, it's every sport.
Dana,
see
that
it-
was, I know you're a
every
Celtics.
sport.
That was one of the more lopsided officiated games I think I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
That was
Yep.
crazy.
Are
It
you able to
happens,
make it
man.
to any of the games, Dana? Or are you too busy?
What's that?
Are you able to make it to any of the games? Or are you too busy?
Yeah, I'm going to. So I told you my son's birthday's this weekend.
Yep.
I'm going next Monday. I'll be in Golden State for that game.
Oh,
Oh, wow, nice.
Oh,
Good for
nice.
you. On the court, obviously.
I hope so.
On the wood, as they say.
On the wood,
yeah.
yeah.
Big Dana Hardwood. That's what they call
We
it.
may have to get Draymond in the ring because it looks like that's what
Yeah,
he wants.
I think Draymond is an MMA fan. I think
Yeah,
years ago,
probably.
around like Mayweather McGregor, Showtime was talking about putting together some kind of like sit down with like me and the mini Khabib girl with like Draymond Green.
Interesting. Well, listen, you know what? He's a throwback, man. He's a rough player.
Yep.
He's a guy that gets physical, gets in your face, and you got to figure out how to deal with him.
Something lighter I wanted to bring up. It looked like this week you got Chris Lieben and Island Boys cameo for him opening a new gym. Is that just something you had the idea to do?
No, I didn't make that cameo. I saw it online, so I promoted it for Chris Lieben.
I thought you made that and sent it to Chris Lee, but I was like, are you reaching out to the Island Boys
That's
to
hilarious.
get your friends shout outs?
I saw they said, hey, Dana, will you repost this? And you know how I feel about the tough one kids. I'd do anything for those kids. So I reposted that for Chris to create awareness about his gym. And, the thing did just on my Instagram, it did like almost 2 million.
Isn't that crazy?
It's a hilarious video.
The things that blow up on your Instagram, it's like food things, Hezbollah, the Island Boys.
Those kids are fucking hilarious, man. I think they're
Yeah, they
funny.
are.
You probably, I assume you have all the fights in front of you. And now we do have to ask about the biggest fight in MMA. Is it in front of you a date, Hezbollah against Abdul Rozik, or is that fight not in the UFC's radar right now?
What fight do you want to know about? Sorry, I was
Hezbollah
checking
against.
how many views my Island Boys did.
Oh, we were asking about the biggest fight in MMA, potential history, Hezbollah against Abdul.
You're asking if that's on the radar yet?
Yeah. I didn't know if it was on the big board.
Do you have that on the big board?
Yeah, August 20th. in Salt Lake
Nice.
City.
Tweet it out.
Breaking news, everyone. Yeah, put it out there. Dana confirms. Yeah.
In Boston.
Yeah, and it's on the Boston card. Yeah.
Suck it, Ariel.
Speaking of the Ultimate Fighter, you said the Ultimate Fighter 1 kids, they're your babies basically. Would you ever consider doing an Ultimate Fighter with retired fighters? Because right now we have Khabib and Tony going back and forth, and it seems like they want to host the Ultimate Fighter against each other, which came out of left field, but it actually sounds like a good idea to me.
Do you like it?
I like it.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you guys as fans, media, whatever it might be, like the idea of two guys possibly coaching that wouldn't fight each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the McGregor-Faber season was awesome.
I'll consider it.
All right. Just, make it a no. I think it would be worth looking into.
I mean, with the right guys, and I think those two are
course.
the right guys. They would make sense.
Okay.
And Tony and
I
Habib.
will absolutely entertain that idea.
And Tony Habib bickering is some of the
There's
funniest
almost like
stuff
some
ever.
some leftover tension somewhere probably a little bit.
Well, hopefully they'll get pissed off enough at each other that they actually want to fight, and I can make it.
Listen, that makes it even better. See, it's like a backdoor way to get Khabib back in. You're like, just come around fighting, Yeah. I don't know. I like that idea, Dana.
I'm in. You sold me.
All right. UFC Long Island as well. This card came together pretty quickly. It seemed like it came out of nowhere. We just found out a Long Island card is happening, and it's a banger of a card. We've got Ortega and Rodriguez in the main event. Billy Q, our guys on that card. Shane Burgos, right? Is he on that card?
Yeah, Shane Burgos, Jordan. A lot of awesome fights. Jack Shore, Ricky Simone.
I thought that was worth
really
bringing up.
awesome fights.
And the first time the UFC is going to be at the UBS Arena as well.
Yeah, no. We got fights made all the way up to fucking. We're all the way up to October 8th already.
Wow.
What's on that card?
Yeah. So they're really coming out of nowhere. We got this stuff. Oh, you'd love to know what's on that fucking card.
Oh.
Hmm.
Is that going to be Fight Island?
It is. No, it's Vegas.
Oh.
Okay.
I believe is that the Santos card?
Wait, what did he say?
Is that the Santos card?
Santos?
Yeah.
No.
No,
Good try.
August, I think, right?
August.
No.
I also
He said, "Good try."
I also saw you and Tony Khan went out to dinner recently, and Tony said he got to break the news to you that the WWE tried to run against the UFC International Fight Week, and they had to move from Allegiant Stadium to MGM.
Yeah, I saw that. That happened that night that we were at dinner.
They went the night that they moved. You
Yeah.
went to dinner. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, probably not a great idea trying to run the stadium International Fight Week.
I think, to be fair to the WWE, they were probably looking at it and their ticket prices are a lot cheaper and there'd be a lot of people in town. And I don't know, but yeah. International Fight Week's a rough week to do it.
Yeah. Is there any update you can provide on Nate Diaz? He's been tweeting up a storm as always, saying he's trying to fight. He wanted to fight Hamzat in July, but he's getting married and all that. Any update on him?
No, but we'll get it figured out.
All right. You guys always do, right?
Yes, sir.
Anything else on the UFC 275 card this weekend, boys?
The series that's starting on Thursday at 2.
The road to the UFC.
Road to the UFC.
You have any info on this? The Singapore series?
So basically what we're always trying to do is trying to cultivate new talent. And obviously, especially in, a market that we're breaking into like we have over in Asia, it's almost like the Contender Series meets the Ultimate Fighter.
Ooh.
And we're taking contestants from all over the place: China, India, Indonesia, Korea, Japan, and building young talent is what the show is designed to do.
And we're going to be able to watch that live?
Yeah.
Cool.
Where's it?
I
I think on Fight Pass.
I was going to say, I would assume Fight Pass or ESPN.
Who's on the
Plus.
call? They announced it this morning.
Lorisenko, I believe.
Yeah, Lorisenko and somebody
Oh,
else. I think a
cool.
current fighter. One last question.
Yeah,
Uh,
Zach goes over there for it.
Cool.
Okay. The Apex, is it here to stay? A lot of people are wondering if it's going to be most UFC fight night cards will be in the Apex, or will it be more getting back on the road as we enter into
No. Listen, as the world gets normal again,
Yep.
The Apex is like our version of the fucking Zoom call.
Yeah.
For people that
Yeah.
don't want to fucking go to work and want to sit in their house. And we eventually, when the world gets back to normal, have to get back on the road and start traveling this thing around. But until everything gets back to normal, man, we're not going anywhere. So.
I mean, that Apex, probably one of the better things that happened during COVID.
For
Like,
sure.
it's just like,
Awesome. Just
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
All right, Dana, we appreciate the time. Thank you for joining the Spinnin Backfist show for the very first time. And UFC Long Island, we want to go to that card. I don't know if you could hook it up, the three
Done.
of us.
Whatever
we would
you
love
need,
for that to be the
let us
first
know.
field
We'll take
trip.
care of you.
All right, awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Dana.
All right,
All right,
Dana,
boys.
thank you.
Congrats on your new show, and take care.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
UFC 275 this Saturday, of course. Check it out. Different time, right? It's afternoon card, or not afternoon, but
no, I think it starts normal.
It's US time. It's
It's
like
US time.
Oh.
like so early prelim 6:30, prelims
Yeah.
8, main card 10.
oh, perfect.
They made it for
They made it for the US.
I'm
viewers.
glad because I'm going to be on the West Coast, so I was hoping that it was going to be like
Where you going?
late. San Diego, first time.
nice. San
Glad you
Diego.
can catch
vacay.
like a 8 a.m. there, like 8 a.m.
That's
8
what
a.m.
that's what I
prelims.
was like. Do I have to wake up at fucking 7 a.m.? Like, oh my god, but
San
no.
Diego. So I went there once with family. My father had, or maybe it was my mother. One of them had a work trip. We went. It was sick.
I'm going to a Padres game. I'm
Oh,
going to
hell
a Chris
yeah.
Stapleton
Heck
concert
yeah.
outdoor.
Nice.
It's going to be fun. Yeah,
Patty's
Hell yeah.
second
I'm
city.
excited. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Patty's
his
there.
second
He's
home.
like US home.
yeah.
We should have asked him if he could fly us all out to London for the Patty card.
Yeah, can we hop on the jet?
I'm good with London or
Long
Island to start.
That's our
There we
London.
go.
We'll take
the
it.
week before too.
All right, and thanks to everyone here. But I thought that went great.
I thought that one well.
Dana's the man.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
Dana's the best.
That Hawani,
I-
the Hawani part was
I
funny.
was like, I don't know, man.
I loved his response to Figueiredo's comments. He just said, "Cool."
I almost think he's gonna change it out of spite now. Even if maybe they were like discussing it being Boston, he's like, nah. Hawani said it. Nah, we'll do it somewhere else now.
Yeah, maybe. Thank you to everyone who tuned in for that and submitted questions, submitted chat during. Come back tomorrow. We're going to be doing a show. We usually do Thursdays, but like I said, I'm going to be flying to San Diego on Thursday.
Oh, we're doing tomorrow. What time?
I don't know what time. We haven't decided on a time yet. We'll have to see what time is open.
We'll figure it out.
in
We'll
the
figure it out.
studios. Follow us on Twitter at Spinnin Backfist.
Live.
Shout out Lee for running that.
Yep. God
Shout out
bless
Lee.
the
And
man.
we'll let you know like when we go live, essentially. On
UFC
Twitter.
275 breakdown picks. I'm getting in the lab tonight. We're getting deep in the
Ooh,
lab.
Get in the lab. I love to hear that. All right.
Yeah,
I think that's all we got, right? We did headlines and stuff before Dana even joined. So
we didn't talk about Ilya, Patty. They're going back and forth at each other.
Yeah.
Patty
much
said
you
he's
knew
going to
there.
teabag Jordan Levitt if he
Yeah,
beats
he
him.
did.
See that? Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, that's right on. Somebody commented. Someone sent a funny tweet to Patty. Not his tweet. The tweet to him wasn't funny. They were like, "Oh, all the people you've fought against have 47 losses," and he just quote tweeted. He's like, "I'm still 12-0 though." And then
It's not like he's lost anyone with 47 losses.
He's like, "Hey, I'm still 12-0 though," and then just laughing face emoji. That's hilarious.
Shout out Patty. Shout out Molly. We will see you guys for a new Spinnin Backfist MMA show tomorrow.